Hi there, welcome to Sports Segment with me, Razak Musbao. Now, tonight, the National Sports Authority has put the aquatic community in limbo because this follows the authority's decision to formally withdraw its recognition of the Ghana Swimming Association, effectively stripping the body of its authority to run swimming and other aquatic sports in the country. Now, the statement by the National Sports Authority cites the failure of the leadership of the Ghana Swimming Association to present what they describe as audited account. Now, the leadership of the Ghana Swimming Association has now responded to that decision by the National Sports Authority, where they have required of the authority to withdraw its decision and even threatened legal action. Now, we've got excerpt of that response by the Ghana Swimming Association for you on your screen, and you can see it's a very extensive statement they did release where they indicated they acknowledge receipt of the statement by the National Sports Authority and said they received with shock and dismay considering its implications for aquatic development and the future of swimming in the country. Now, they went on to say that the decision fails to comply with the mandatory procedures prescribed under the Sports Regulation 2023. So they raised questions about the process that the National Sports Authority took through to withdraw their certification. And they say the National Sports Authority did not follow the law as it ought to do. Now, they go further to indicate that they are going to challenge it. So these are the regulations which they say the authority failed to, go by. They talk about a certain regulation which requires the National Sports Authority to give them at least 14 days before any such decision is taken, giving them room to be heard on the allegations that has been leveled against them. But they claim the National Sports Authority did not give them that room, and they even cite other regulations which even give them a window of 21 days before the National Sports Authority takes the decision. But they say they were not given any fair hearing on this matter before the decision was taken. So they go on to say that if the National Sports Authority does not withdraw its decision, they say they will go ahead to petition the sports minister on this very matter. They will even consider legal action against the National Sports Authority if they do not withdraw this decision. From what we are hearing, we also get to that leadership of the Ghana Swimming Association is set to meet the chief director of the National Ministry of Sports as they look to resolve this matter. Now, Ghana is set to host the rest of Africa in an aquatic championship later this year. And if this matter is not resolved, it might put that very tournament in limbo. At the moment, the National Sports Authority says it will manage and reset Ghana swimming, while the current leadership have since been dissolved. We're following this closely. We're making an attempt to reach the Director General of the National Sports Authority, and we'll bring you more update on this very developing story. Now let's head to Senegal, where the Teranga Lions were given a hero's welcome during its parade in the capital Dakar earlier today, following their victory in a 10th African Cup of exciting season teams. So we're waiting for when Ghana Black Stars, of course, will give us this kind of atmosphere. But let's turn attention to the Champions League now, and it has returned. It starts with Manchester City, who has left stand as the miserable 2026 continued after Norwegian side Bodo Glimt produced a scintillating attacking performance to secure a shock 3-1 Champions League victory. The Norwegians, who secured the first win against English opposition in European competition, cut through Manchester City's makeshift defense with ease as Kasper Ho scored twice in just under 2 minutes, both after mistakes from defender Max Alien to stand the Premier League side. Now, City, who were without 11 senior players through either illness, injury, suspension, or ineligibility, saw their problems continue after the break as Jens Peter Stana extended the advantage for the hosts. Well, Ryan Cherky did pull a goal back for City, but the loss has now put their hopes of avoiding the Champions League playoff round in a precarious position elsewhere. Arsenal are in action against Inter Milan. It's currently 1-1 in that game. Chelsea is also playing Pafos, but you also got Real Madrid in action against AS Monaco. We'll bring you update there. Well, as we speak at the moment, Arsenal have increased their lead against Inter Milan, 2-1 it stands now. Turn attention to Germany now, where my good friend Tom Ginnoy is joining us. He's with our partner station DWTV, joining us for the latest in the Bundesliga. Tom, good to have you, good to see you again. But let's start by talking about Bayern Munich, because they trashed their biggest competitors this weekend. Leipzig was an emphatic victory. I mean, tell us about how they managed to secure that victory.
Well, it was a momentous result. Leipzig won, Bayern 5. And a result that might not tell you all that much accurately about the actual game itself, but it certainly demonstrates a couple of things about the state of play in the Bundesliga at the moment. Now, Bayern went behind in the first half, and they went into half-time trailing at 1-0 behind. But they finished the match once more 11 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga table, now with a goal difference of plus 57 goals. Now, Manuel Neuer noted after full-time that his outfield teammates ran 6 kilometres more than the players of RB Leipzig in the second half. And as he said, that says a lot about Bayern's motivation and determination. There is a question, I think, to be asked about whether or not RB Leipzig left the door open a little bit. They really should have scored more in the first half, but Bayern's response in the second half was just first class, and the result speaks for itself. Now, RB Leipzig came into this weekend in third place in the Bundesliga table, and Bayern have now beaten them twice in the league this season. First, by 6-0 on the opening day, and now with another thrashing, 5-1, just after the midpoint of the campaign. Now, I mentioned the midpoint of the campaign as well, and after 17 match days, so exactly halfway in this Bundesliga season, Bayern recorded the best first half of a season in Bundesliga history. In under a month, they'll play against RB Leipzig again in the German Cup quarter-final. And when they do that, they're stepping up to play in a Cup quarter-final, a team against whom they've won, if you take the two results on aggregate, 11-1 so far this season. I mean, their power in German football right now is just total. And as I say, that was a result that really demonstrated just how good Bayern are at this present moment.
Interesting. I mean, but they were also boosted by the return of one of the biggest stars. We're talking about Jamal Musiala. Of course, we know he picked up an injury and he's been out for a very long time. Finally, he did touch the grass again. I mean, talk to us about his return and his performance in that game.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, there can be no qualms with Jamal Musiala's performance. I mean, he was brought on in the 87th minute at 4-1. He was never going to play a massive role in this game. It was just about getting him back on the pitch and getting him some minutes. But he came on in the 87th minute when it was 4-1 to Bayern, and 90 seconds later it was 5-1 to Bayern, with Jamal Musiala providing the assist for Michael Olise. So, yeah, back in the fold, back among the action. Like I say, it wasn't really that much about his performance. It was about his return. We can remind ourselves he was out for, I think, something around 200 days, just under 200 days, I believe, suffering a broken leg and a dislocated ankle at the Club World Cup in summer. So more than 6 months out on the sideline, but it's obviously massive for the club that he's now back available, and also massive for Germany as well, because let's not forget, Jamal Musiala is an important international for Julian Nagelsmann's Germany team. Now, as Leipzig defender David Raum, who is also a German international, said after the game on the weekend just gone, he's very pleased for Bayern and for Germany. I mean, he was, of course, still fuming after the 5-1 thrashing, but he still found time to praise and to congratulate Jamal Musiala. That, I think, goes a little way to show the esteem in which Musiala is held in the game here in Germany. And obviously the World Cup is coming up this summer, so return now is right in time to start picking up some minutes, to start finding some form, to get back to his best for that tournament. And obviously, if he is at his very best when Germany travel to the World Cup in this coming summer, well, he'll be able to do some defenders some serious damage because Jamal Musiala's best is pretty good indeed.
Well, pretty good indeed. Tom, thank you very much for your time. And that's Tom joining us all the way from Germany. He's with our partner station DWTV for the update in Germany. But let's go to Australia now because there's some tennis unfolding there. And it's the Australian Open and defending champion Yannick Sinner also advanced in Melbourne as he did defeat Sone Katal to make sure he made it to the next stage. Well, number 2 Sinner advanced to the second round after his French opponent, Hugo Gaston, retired after 2 sets while trailing 6-2, 6-1. Well, Gaston was in tears after he told Sinner he could not continue with the Italian second seed consoling him. Now, Sinner, who will next face Australian James Duckworth for a place in the third round, said he has put in many long days in the off-season trying to become a better tennis player, and he hopes to demonstrate that in the tournament while also looking to improve upon his serve.
But it's unfortunately not good enough against the two-time defending champion.
Well, elsewhere in the women's category, former world number 1 Naomi Osaka commenced the Australian Open campaign with a nervy, volatile 6-3, 3-6, 6-4 victory against Antoine Ruzic at the Rod Laver Arena. The Japanese star was inconsistent and did bleed hot and cold to offer the Croatians several chances before eventually prevailing in the encounter. Before that, Osaka walked onto court wearing an ocean blue tie-dye tracksuit jacket with white leg buttons, both adorned with ruffles. The 28-year-old revealed her jellyfish-inspired outfit was one which she saw in a book while reading to her 2-year-old daughter. Well, we'll bring you more update on the Australian Open in our subsequent bulletins, but that's all we have for you tonight. Do stay tuned to join us. We have more coming your way.